Yes. I don't know why I started it with yes. But I'm thinking I'm going to title this video, Why an Attack on LGBT Rights, an attack on LGBT people, accrediting immorality to being LGBT is an attack on love, obviously, and love is God, but also attack on children. It makes children vulnerable, LGBT children, but all children, and also mess up everything socially in general. And I will say, I don't know, I'm not sure how 100% I'm going to tell this video, but also I'm going to get into the fact of my experience being, being born 2000, an LGBT child, being seen as LGBT. I think only, if you're LGBT, you know what I'm saying? If you're really LGBT, I mean, those are fake LGBT. Yeah. No, like, but if you, there's a certain level. there's a level of, I know what it is. I'm seen as okay. This is the thing. I'm seen as, I just don't fit whatever. This is a reality of my existence. It's me being LGBT is just a reflection of the bigger picture of my existence. Is that I don't try to be to mirror the people around me at all. That's I've had a moral record of my whole life of never attacking anyone. My whole life is innocent. So most people, that sheep mentality, I don't have that, because if you attack innocent people, the root of that is, like, I guarantee you have more of that sheep mentality thinking, because that's what's going to lead you to do that. Because if you don't give a fuck and you're doing your own shit, where is the room to have ego issues? Yeah, like, you don't have that. I naturally, pathologically don't give a fuck in the healthy ways. Like, I like people, everyone, you know what I'm saying? I was a type male at birth. I knew I didn't identify as men. I wasn't trying to blend in with them. And then I was always with girls. But even if I was assigned female at birth energy, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person where I wouldn't be looking to other girls for how to form my look. I would look to artists, like, so, like, I would look to shit I think is cool through our history and literally do that. But I don't give a fuck about incorporating or like trying to level myself closely or anything like that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm gonna be 100%. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I knew that was a thing, obviously. Like, okay, being in school, obviously, as a child, I obviously picked up that being a vibe, absolutely. But like, I don't engage that. So, and then going into adulthood, and then adults being weird and jealous of me, and then me realizing, like, oh, bitches really still think like that. Like, I literally forgot that it was like a thing to care that much about and like size yourself up to people type shit. Like, I literally just thought people weren't doing it type shit, because I don't do it, so that I was just living in that reality so much. Okay, there's a million and one different angles. Okay, so I guess first let me get into, there's so many different angles I want to get at this. Okay, let me first talk about how it makes LGBT youth vulnerable. Me being told I was wrong since I was a kid, right? Being ingrained with all this shame and guilt from my family, from people around me who are anti-LGBT, that my birth as a child is wrong because I'm LGBT. Obviously, that is setting your child up, just like with the racist, which doll do you prefer? The black doll or the white doll? Obviously, that's happening with LGBT children, but worse. And I'm black and LGBT, so I could say the shame and guilt you get for being black, quick to easy to get over, and you're not fucking like met with it. People trying to put it back on you every other day. Being LGBT, it's the lot. It's people still doing it to you as an adult. and it's harder. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper. Like your race is one thing, but your sexual. I feel like sexual shame is deeper. That's why all this is happening. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that's people that are. I'm like, that goes another. My brain just went, but yeah, all this shit happening right now boils down to people either like me who were given sexual shame and they stepped up to the fucking plate, who actually had like people who are empathetic, right? Who had healthy feminine people and people empathetic people with healthy sexualization getting their sexualizations, their sexual landscapes demonized, while people with unhealthy ones, keep it a secret, quote unquote, but it's not really a secret. It's kind of a public secret when you go on the biggest porn sites for the whole country, and yeah, look what they're showing. Pedophilic stuff. So yeah. Okay, so if you know my life story, if you already watched any of my videos, I'm someone who literally as a kid was seen as an adult, right? I was followed home as a kid a bunch, like by grown adults, until I was sexualized a lot as a kid. And a lot of people thought I was older than my brother, who was basically an adult, or when he literally was an adult and I was a child. This is a 4-year age difference. So I had a weird psychology as a kid of feeling not like a kid already. Like basically, I was very vulnerable in a way that a kid should not be. That like as soon as I turned 18, I got assaulted. Like, and I was talking to men online already. Like the telling LGBT kids that they can't be themselves is going to only lead them. For me, it only led me. It leads them into predators. Like obviously, like it only led me talking to adults because it's like, okay, everyone in my age group, the boys in my age group, who me being a trans feminine person, the boys in my age group who would like me, they're not gonna come out. They also like cis women. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to step up to that plate. there was gay boys around me dating, but I couldn't date. Like gay guys don't like me. That's even way before I transitioned. You have to believe trans people are real, or gender is real. But I passed as a girl before I transitioned. So before any hormones, anything like. Gay boys were not gonna like me like that. So, or a very special gay boy, but that's not. It's very. So yeah. So because I had like no options basically, like is what it felt like. Yeah, and when you're putting kids in that type of predicament socially, when you're telling them from a young age, don't be LGBT, so the kids that are like me, that are very LGBT, but are meant to have, they're so LGBT that the people that are attracted to them are not LGBT. You understand what I'm saying? Like the people that are attracted to me tend to be the most like cis passing straight guys. So so it makes children vulnerable in that way. But it makes okay. It makes children vulnerable in another way, in the sense of I was just watching this other video, and this woman was talking about archetypes, and that she feels like she called it the holy prostitute archetype. It kind of disturbed the fuck out of me. Because she was talking about the energy of, or like the idea of just like walking down the street and people like feeling, which I feel like as an adult now I'm like, okay, this is a thing where I don't like to, okay. Like, okay, feeling people's energy and feeling people almost like sexualize you, or just like a weird energy with people type thing. I feel like basically a lot of the anti-LGBT stuff, you basically what I'm trying to say is like it's hard for me to fully. Okay, Children need to play. Everyone needs to play. Adults need to play. That's what our society is missing. That's why I don't fuck with adults. Adults need to play and play consensually, platonically, innocently, purely. That's adults are missing that completely. That's why the adults are dry as fuck. And I'd rather be by myself. Period. And that's period. For like across. That's like the issue. I would yeah. But I would say like that anti-LGBT shit makes it so that when children, especially men, say it changes the dynamic of the play. It makes the play awkward, okay? Where they're scared of being gay. Like part of okay. What I was gonna say too is like when she was why I brought up that woman talking about she feels like she's a sacred prostitute archetype and she was talking about like walking by people and shit and like feeling pulled their energy pulling them and stuff like that. Like sometimes I feel like I do that to people and I'm saying that not because I'm like trying to do that to people, but because of the reactions I get from fucking people of like everyone staring at me so fucking hard and literally it traumatized me, especially coming of age because it's like and especially it happens more times I don't even want the attention or can't, you know what I'm saying? Because my energy is so playful. Because when I'm by myself, I'm constantly laughing because I'm constantly being stupid because I'm constantly playful. Like, so much of the anti-LGBT stuff demonizes love. It demonizes joy. It demonizes play. That's the reality. You can't demonize something that's pure and tied to love, joy, happiness. That's all that two consenting adults of any gender being together is. In theory, unless it's abusive or whatever, that's could be no matter what gender. Obviously, need that be said. But yeah, when you demonize, you can't demonize good and not demonize good. But yeah, so I feel like there's it changes the gender dynamics. Obviously, makes it more rigid where men can't even then as adults, you know, men are weird with fucking like hugging each other. It just changes the gender dynamics. It makes it fucked up, and then it makes honestly being not making shit. This is a tea. People can't even. There's men inside that can't even find their sexuality, but because they were told not to play with men. You know what I'm saying? Like people need to, or like we're fearful of playing in a way. That was my childhood. Like fearful of playing in a way that is gonna be gay because you already know you're gay, or you know what I'm saying? But it's like that shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be like this weird shit of that. So bad. But that just crosses over into like whatever sexuality you are as an adult and feeling uncomfortable to interact. So from my life story, me coming of age and like how do I even me coming of age. Like I said, as a child I was seen as an adult a lot. I was 6 feet at 12, so as a child I was seen as an adult a lot. As an adult, I was seen as a child a lot because I looked literally younger. I literally looked just more feminine, and I took crazy good care of myself. I loved being healthy and an athlete. Yum. So that being my life story has put it in my face where I could really say I know the other side of like. Me being LGBT was the number one issue of me being a child, right? Me being an adult, and my number one issue as an adult comes from me being LGBT, but it's because of the way my biology is different, and that I get seen like slapping it away, and that I get seen as younger than my age. I can get seen as an underage boy or girl. Like that has been more of being an adult and having people come on to me and being like, "Are you of age?" and has been the thing that comes before my LGBTness for my personal experience as an LGBT person. So that's given me this unique perspective of being envied by grown ass woman. Well, people are literally questioning. Like up until this year, I asked people online on Omegle. When I turned 23, I'm 24 now, so that was last year. But I only look more every year. I only take more care of myself. So that's it. So I asked people on there like, how old do you think I am? The general consensus was like 16-year-old boy type shit. So that is how often I'm tending to be seen. What that has shown me about people and how many people, first off, how common I was preyed on by my boyfriend. His own mother told me she fetishized children, and I go to tell so many people in my life, and everyone's reaction is either like, oh yeah, you didn't know, like that's how people are, or da da da. So like, and I'm still like, so I like you know, so yeah. You can't tell me different type shit, you know what I'm saying? Because these people also discriminated against me being LGBT, or had an issue with my feminine presentation, or are you wearing this to get attention, or all the classic things that people do to children to police how they dress. That was their whole psychology. My whole psychology is the opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole psychology. It is a whole psychology of what stands out to them more. What stands out to me in dynamic of love is love, right? First and foremost, that my idea of love dynamic is love. I feel like people with that type of thinking, first and foremost, the idea of dynamic is dominance. One person being over another, right? A lot of I feel like, yeah. So, yeah. And it's not an idea. Like, yes, I fetishize. Yes, I want to ideally have a partner who's smarter than me. I do fetishize someone being quote unquote dominant. But if dominant does not mean cross boundaries, bitch. That means you're a fucking monster. That means you're a piece of shit. So that's where the hairs get. Those people are just pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Their idea of dominance still is just being a piece of shit. Dominance to them means you can do whatever. Not you just are the thing. You just are smart. You just are. And then I actually am the thing. And what I do, trigger all their egos, make them more insecure. You know, so the real thing makes them insecure. But their idea of being the thing is just yell and act like a bitch. And they bring that into their sexuality and what their idea of a man is, a strong energy versus and how they raise their children, right? That's a huge fucking thing I realize is like, think about just doing the math. Nothing's wrong with oh god, I don't know. Something is wrong. Yeah, let me think about how to get. I'm all over the place, and I want to revisit so many of the things I just touched on because I feel like I did not even the big picture. I want to make it solid what I'm saying because we're talking about two opposite psychologies, right? We're talking about my type of psychology, which is more godlike. It's why I never tried to do it in my life. That's just about being an individual, and the other psychology, which is drenched in culture in this idea that you are going to age, you're going to die, I'm drenched in health and the idea that you can do whatever the fuck you want to take care of yourself, and we are made from everything on this fucking earth, so anything that comes out, you just gotta put it back in. That's what I'm just mind your own fucking business. But what you can't put back in is the part of your soul you give away when you try to attack an innocent bitch. Okay? You gotta pray about that, but you know what I'm saying? So that's my mindset. These bitches' mindset is you're gonna age, you're gonna look bad. Oh my god, you need frat. You're saying this short term rat race in a rat race mindset. My mindset is I'm taking care of myself over here. Get the fuck away from me, and these bitches don't. And then I call the police on them sometimes, literally. literally bitches have stalked me. Because bitches know when you're outside and you don't give a fuck. You're outside of the fucking rat head, being a rat head, cheddar brain biscuit, dumbass bitch who's just thirsting to be in the in thing, whatever. You know, it's like, bitch, you know I'm not that, so get the fuck. But they're so mad when you're outside that and you're slaying more than that. You know, when you make your own culture for yourself, that's better. That's obviously way more beautiful and better than the culture which I've done. Bitches are so mad. And I'm like, go stay over there, eat some Cheetos with Trump, bitch. In hell. So do you want us to okay, whatever. But anyway, as I was saying, it's hard for me to basically, but that's what I was getting. It's hard for me to get the I'm talking about two opposite ends of a psychology, right? And what I'm really talking about here is what's stereotyped as masculine psychology and feminine psychology, right? And I am including women as part of that LGBT demonization because that is how it functions in reality. It's like either people are wrapped up in like a lot of these men. What do you do when you show men who have like okay, men and a lot of women? This is what narcissism is. This is let's just get into. Okay, narcissism is a psychology. This is my psychology is I want to find my man and do my shit and we good forever. Narcissism is psychology where my psychology is hinged on me modeling, me doing my shit, me da da da, and then I find my man, right? Narcissistic psychology is hinged on, oh, you're here now, so this means I can maybe do this. Oh, you're here now, so maybe I can do this with this person. Maybe I can push this, and maybe I can, right? It's not my. If you're a healthy person, you have plans. Everyone in your life can fucking not be there or there. You're doing the same life story. You know what I'm saying? If you're a healthy, good person, no matter it's actually following like what God put on your heart. The people in your life can be there or not. It's the same life story type shit, unless they interact with you differently. You know what I mean? But besides that, like you're doing the same shit. You're taking the same steps. It's not about these bitches. These bitches need to mind their own fucking business and do what the fuck God made them to do, right? But they're probably not. They're probably worried about fucking you because they're not from God. God. But yeah, you gotta say like I'm doing the same shit. My parents are not. They're not dating this person. Not this person. Not. I like modeling. I like art. I like the nude human body. I like being a fucking athlete warrior bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's what the focus is. No matter what, that's the backbone of my life. No matter what. And then it's like whoever I meet in me being that's healthy psychology. Narcissistic psychology is what people is. Yeah, like I just said, you're looking for. You have no big picture plan for your life. You ain't got no fucking even big picture interest, bitch. Like and you're not even trying to learn them. You're not trying to learn yourself. Or you have them when you're ashamed of yourself. Like narcissistic, you want to be basic. And honestly, probably a mix of all three of those things. So, narcissist. What do we put on a platform as our idea of a beautiful man and woman union? A man that could look any fucking age, basically, and be muscular and just looks, strong, whatever. And a woman who, the backbone of female identity, before female identity is, how can I even, being a woman in the sense of being a woman that is seen as sexualizable, desirable, do I need to even say is so inextricably linked with the fetishization of youth that it literally goes before the gender. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's also I feel like a major reason why when I was underage, and not on hormones, I was being seen as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like the youth comes before how actual feminine you look in a way. Like honestly, really it does. Is the level of how people fetishize it. They don't even fetishize. Like femininity is really about creative expression. Like so many aspects of femininity that are like femininity is the backbone of femininity. Really is just freedom, creative expression. So that's not has nothing to do with age. Obviously, people tend to be more that vibe when they're younger, but that's because they made the whether or not they make the choice to attack others and minimize themselves. You know, whether or not they're narcissistic and they made a choice to be a toxic person. But and age bad and mentally age bad too, but spiritually, mentally, physically, they all each just at one, together. But age or develop for the better. But what was I getting at? Yeah. Okay. That youth, right? This is something else I've heard recently. Men, this is random, but I'm gonna start adding this to my writing too. There's like a lot of young men, and myself, I've been fetishized by a grown woman as a young man. But I've been fetishized as a grown, but by a young woman that thought I was like, "Are you a child?" Yeah. So, and I was an adult. I was, but it creeped me the fuck out because it's like, why were you coming on to me if you were questioning that? So, it's something I heard recently. It's like, just like how young women are fetishized and jumped on. That's still my life. I still am in that age. I'm 24, but I look younger, way younger. So much that it's like taboo how people even engage my art online. So that is still my life now. so that's why I talk about this shit so much too, obviously. But and still have like fear, honestly, going out even in public because that has been my life up to this point. It's like I get that type of energy, like predators. Let's talk about predators. People that like children. That's period. So, basically that young men attract predators, and that's how they become predators. And I mean, obviously we know, and it's just a cycle, right? And people are not born narcissists. People have to be introduced to narcissism and narcissism, and like it's like predation is functions through narcissism. So there, yeah. So, but what am I trying to get out? What am I trying to say? Basically, yeah, just basically like that like I don't want to. It goes both ways. Like it's not just men, but it's disproportionately men that are doing it and doing it and doing it. Like a woman has never followed me home. You know, it's like it's disproportionately men that are doing it, and not all men that are doing it also were victims of it either. It's not like it kind of does also come out of nowhere. So for sense of like some people are more lean. I know I said narcissism can't come out of nowhere, but some people are really more lean that way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they could have been shaped better, but they were lean that way, So yeah, I think no matter what, we're all lean one more towards good or bad in different areas too, I have more to say. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to what I said and get my thoughts straight. I want to say if someone has sexual shame to project, right? If someone's trying to attack LGBT people, there has to be a reason, and the reason is they have sexual shame within themselves. If you are rooting for someone else to be subjugated, it's because you already feel subjugated within yourself. You are rooting for someone else to feel ashamed of themselves because you already feel ashamed of yourself. So if you're someone in that area to feel ashamed of themselves in their sexuality, it's likely you have sexual shame. So that's why, and that's my experience. Literally, my experience is. Same people oftentimes attacking me for being LGBT were predators, or when I told them that's how I was being seen, look like smirk, like ooh, cute femboy in front of me, like I was like look stupid, look fucking stupid, look like I had nothing to say, or they had nothing to say at all. that was my general. So it's like, how can all these people have all this stuff to LGBT, be weird about LGBT people, or just don't include LGBT people, or like a million, or actively against them? But when I talk about predation, silence, a lot of people have agendas to not face themselves. They're using LGBT people as a wall socially to not, of being like, this is so weird and different. Like you're 5, to not look at themselves and the fact that their fish is people of their age, and that, or they want to look that way themselves and they envy that, or both. So, what I want to say, like, there's a lot of fetishizations for different, like birthdays, so like, there's a lot of fetishizations of different dynamics in relationships, right? There's people who would more fetishize. I don't know how to describe. Okay, there's age fetishization, right? There's people who fetishize being the older person with a younger person. People who fetishize being the younger person with an older person, which I kind of fall in that category because I would definitely was always talking to people older than me, older than I should have. So yes, and you got to get out my there's my that threw me off. Okay, and there's all types of shit, you know what I mean? Or like there's a neutral fetishization of like fetishizing someone your own age. You know what I mean? It's all types of shit. But it can be said, no matter what, across the board, that age fetishization has gotten normalized. Well, like an age difference has been seen as more normal before a gender difference. The difference as in a lack of difference, because the norm is for heterosexuality, it's for there to be a difference. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, age variation, it seems, is a lot more within circles of people that consider themselves Christian. Within, it seems to be a lot more accepted before gender, even though age variation veers into immoral. Obviously, like immoral, or to say the least, something's off. Like, I would say for someone like me who fetishizes people older, I wouldn't say something's off, but if it's going the other way, and maybe not at first, something's off, I feel like there has to be there's that other end to every coin, like that's it. There has to be someone that likes said something that likes everything, like, or could, so my goodness, what's happening? My computer, I need to plug it in. But let me think. So as far as age, obviously age being attached with femininity, right? And age being attached with femininity also because of women reproductivity, which is really have to do with, like, I think we're gonna in the future more see it's not like, 40 now, if you're a cisgender woman now you can't have children. It's really just how to take care of yourself and making sure you're getting omega-3 fats and stuff and working out and stuff. It's really not like a set thing. For our ancestors, it may have felt even more that way because, you're limited access to food and stuff. Then it's kind of different. Yeah, it can make it a little more filled like that's the reality. but it's not the case now. So yeah, but it's about what you choose, right? What you choose to put in your body, which most people choose. So that's not gonna help them be able to have kids too long. So it's so bad. Oh my god, that sounded crazy. So yeah, so basically I'm trying to bring up how gender and age are correlated and like fetishized. And you know, I know my psychology behind wanting someone older was wanting a provider because or like having, I don't even know how to describe what I'm saying. I feel like my whole landscape of romantic sexual thing from when I was a kid was too hinged on the idea of like me and a person like running away because of me being in a society that's like anti-LGBT and LGBT. So I feel like that is what, like, shame, which is obviously attached to being LGBT, encourages just mess. Just, I'm like, bringing sexual shame, approaching anything, shame is illogical, right? Shame, there's no room for shame. There's only room for right and wrong when you're coming from a place of actually learning and having morality. Shame is just bullshit. Shame is just, don't do that, no reason. Shame is just that. Shame is just shaming. Like, shame is shame. For shame. So there's no room for shame when you're actually processing shit. So there being shame attached to being LGBT and everything, and then children growing up into that world makes sex unsafe for, you know, like you're telling me as an LGBT child that I have to do some sketchy shit. Like, that's what you're telling me, because there's no other. That's what you're telling LGBT children. And I feel like there's people behind agendas that are homophobic and that know that want that. I'm like, that want that for, I would say, LGBT children, but feminine young people in general. You know what I'm saying? It's directed towards feminine young people, which is going to, of like, critiquing down to what they wear, like, you know, like, and blaming their sexualization and abuse they face from their sexualization on them, and them being presenting a certain way. Or that goes for LGBT, obviously. You need to say more. I'm like, presenting a certain way, LGBT people. That goes for women and LGBT people. And children. Those are the people that are most affected by those things, because you're old, wear some wild shit. It's always just it's always the whenever it's a school or institution or people in your personal life, or, you know, like yelled at, like, you know, like, that being an issue in society of policing women in children's bodies. Yeah. That is, and then what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do when they make anti-LGBT matters? Police how you present. It's like, yeah, because predators eyes pop out. I've lived with people who are been pedophiles. Like they are people who are predatory. People who are they're obsessed with aspect of themselves that they want, either something they want in their partner or in themselves, or more likely both, because you really want what's in yourself, what you want in your partner too, and they just obsess over it and envy in other people like fucking idiots. So that is just the most people that are, like that are um like, how I get what I'm saying. I don't even know what I was getting at. Oh my god. But let me think. Let me plug this in. I need some more water. Okay. So I will say typically the other end, if you're a younger person fetishizing want to be an older person, typically you're fetishizing, right? It's this underground railroad of love energy. That's where it's coming from for me. It's like, okay, the world's homophobic. I know I only want to be with a man. Can a man just swoop me the fuck up and I just disappear? That was like my second, and then you end up, but that's your psychology around your prospects of future love, and that's what you're being told it should be because the world's LGBT phobic. Then that just leaves way, that opens the door right up for predators, because you're gonna open the door right up for them because you're just like, anyone that is like actually the people I'm attracted to that can get me out of this type of situation. So okay, so that is like, how do I, that's one way. Another way that those things are interlocked, but there's a lock between gender, right, and age, also in the impact of, if you're fully healthy, the impact that sex hormones have, obviously. And that is why, estrogen being the hormone that makes you have like higher quality cells, more youthful look, if you're actually getting all the vitamins you need, that can where you can fully rebuild your body too, because then you're not going to have the youthful look if you're not fully rebuilding the body. Also, just because you're on estrogen doesn't mean it's gonna be that, but or for testosterone too doesn't mean you're gonna get the good effects if you're not doing the good things to get the good effects. But yeah, so, but the good effects are what's fetishized, obviously, in people's like biological programming. So yeah, I would say for both, there's like anti-aging or age, but it's not gonna, okay. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything if you're not healthy, but I wanted to mention that in regards to, I feel like those hairs are crossed basically a lot of times for people of because of gender expectations, like yeah, gender and age are like, you know, um, like hmm. So being here, okay, okay, like trying to, okay, so I want to say also because the reality of my experience, this is a yeah, this is a like this is good a good thing for me to say. I don't know, but the reality of my experience has shown me basically because like I was just saying, me being someone who didn't really have high assignment at birth, but didn't have high testosterone, and then took estrogen, starting taking feminine hormones more and like natural feminine stuff as a child and around 16, like, but I'm like before then I'm pretty sure I was doing natural stuff too, so but yeah, so what that has shown me is that there's a lot of like how that gender and age thing is interlocked. I would say where that I would say young being a younger male, looking like a younger male, or being younger. Oh, even a lot of female runway models, what do they get literally told? They look like younger guys. So being looking like a young male, looking like a male that could possibly be underage, is fetishized. I would say almost. I would say in the sense of you're in everyone's crosshair, or you could be like the most. I will. That's absolutely the case. And because I will say, I'm saying this because I've been. That's how I've been seen, and it could be seen till now. So yeah, and I definitely say that is a root of why a lot of men that even aren't young men are predatory, because like I will say in reality, for how people's sexualities actually work, a lot of women, straight quote unquote women, fetishize men, boys that yeah, it's like that look really young, and a lot of men do in the same way they fetishize women. It's like the same energy of why they fetishize women. So, but I also feel like that does that as trans women aren't young men, but that impacts trans women. That still impacts trans women. That like so, or especially especially for someone like me, like especially if you look very androgynous and look very boyish, and do not even have like me, you don't even have boobs and stuff. So on top of it, it's very like literally just looks boyish, and yeah, you just look boyish, um, and sound and everything in R. Just so there's your answer. Um, Trying to think. Yeah, I hope what I'm saying is being understood. That basically age men tend to fetishize femininity. Femininity is really a fetishization typically of style, and a youthful, stylish person is just classed as feminine. That's really it. Being stylish and creative. So just like help being mentally and spiritually healthy. That's what those are products of. It's not like a just like being whole. Okay, so that's what's fetishized. Um, and also scrutinized and preyed upon and policed. And that's the same thing that they're doing with LGBT people. It's the same. It's literally the same. It's literally the same. So in that, because there's such a heavy fetishization of age with femininity and everything, that men haven't been fetishizing cis women, they've been fetishizing youth and style as femininity. Like, yeah, yeah, that's reality. They've been fetishizing like youthfulness and like style, but then also, I would say across the board, men and women, this whole culture, especially Western culture in particular, but just, I would say across the board, and no matter what, there's always going to be a fetishization of youth because youth is health, so that always is going to make sense. Obviously, but when people are jealous and not pursuing actual health for themselves and just jealous because someone is youth, then that's what I'm talking about more. And that is like the psychology of people to typically go out their way to have an emphasis, fetishization of youth. Either they see it at the lens of preying on kids, like preying on people, being a predator, or I'm like, well, no matter what, it's that. So I'm like, oh, I mean, there's really no or there. But yeah, um, I want to say, like, obviously being anti-LGBT is immoral, but being anti-LGBT doesn't mean you have to be a predator. And it could, but I don't believe you're anti. I just don't believe you are anti-LGBT and don't have an incentive from your own sexual shame. Like, yeah, so it's either like you're LGBT and that's why you're anti-LGBT, or you're a predator and you're anti-LGBT. I feel like it's always normal, or both, or some. Everyone has a unique sexuality, but something that you're ashamed of, because it doesn't make any sense to have an vendetta against how other people live, and especially in a culture that if you're gonna complain about anything, there is stuff to complain about en masse for sexual fetishizations. You don't care about children. All these big Christian organizations. How come I can be LGBT kid, like getting followed home by predators, da, 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 da. But all you see on what I saw growing up was stuff about LGBT bad, da, da, da. But how come all these straight, quote unquote, straight people are fetishizing me and I'm a child? It's not making sense. And they're men. So I'm a child, so I'm male birth. Yeah. So I just if someone's anti-LGBT, I just think that's a yeah, it's a sign of something like that it. But no matter what, I just feel like if you're in this world and you could stand on being anti-LGBT, but you didn't notice how the predation is, you have nothing to say about that. That need I say more? Yeah, like that is something that's very off, very, very, very off. There's no actual conviction there, and it's actually a protection of people there. So yeah. I was just watching this, talking about predation. Just watching this video of this guy talking about, um, woman in your 20s, don't complain, if a 40-year-old man is attracted to a girl in their 20s. And he's like, is it really shocking that um men like women who have like healthy, smooth features? Is there a grain of truth in that? Yeah, absolutely. Because our culture is not healthy, so our women or men, regardless of gender, are people tending to take care of themselves and be able to have a sexual relationship. Your sexual relationship that's healthy, everything has to progress in life. Everything has to progress. This, if you think you could keep something stagnant, it's gonna fall apart. You're gonna fall apart. You're probably gonna fall into some dark stuff. You have to progress. So sexually, because your partner and you need to progress, otherwise it gets boring. That's just reality. And then toxicity is let in one way or another. Um, yeah, if you're not taking care of your body, like I basically your body, you building your body with time is what makes also your relationship, and is that a common thing in society? No. So the root of it, the root of predation is unhealth. You know what I'm saying? It's a mindset of reality that you're going to die in a set amount of time, and you're going to get less and less healthy. So, and you project that on other people, right? That's what your mindset isn't. I could just keep progressing in my health journey forever, onward, 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 stronger, stronger, like a bodybuilder, but just worried about healthy eating, and that's the opposite of a predator's mindset. That's why I will literally say this: like, a lot of muscular men tend to be gay because that's the type of person I want. Like they want to have a. You ever see two muscle men that are gay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They want to have that type of bond. Like they have that type of bond, right? That I'm talking about. It's a healthy bond where you're both working out, you're both growing as people, you're both actually on a life journey, physically, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? That's the only type of like relationship where I could see that I'm like, I think that's what's happening. What I think should happen in a relationship, right? A dynamic where we're both caring for our bodies openly in that way that it's gonna be, and we're both like building our bodies where we're both gonna be sexually fulfilling each other and emotionally fulfilling each other, and sexually and emotionally fulfilling ourselves. That's first and foremost. That's not at all people don't even have that conception in their head, and a lot of people, especially nowadays, most people are insecure, jealous, will sit up there, judge how many girls have I seen, how many people have we seen? Let's just be, how many people have I seen that are overweight judging people who aren't? Like in their beauty. Countless. How many people have I seen that are old as fuck judge me in my beauty? Countless. That are old as fuck and didn't take care of themselves for shit. Like are aging terribly. That's so that's a full picture of our society. You know what I'm saying? You have to take in the full. It's so hard to, that's what makes this conversation hard to have, because you have to take in the full entire picture of the landscape, that this is a belief that people believe that you are going to die basically at 100. They think that from there you are decaying and disintegrating. Men don't work out. Like, people would unlock the code that that's not really how shit works if they worked out and took care of their fucking bodies, but they don't. That's the real, because I do take care of my body. I cannot believe in that reality, because I've literally seen myself look younger and younger, and it literally has been an issue in my life. That's also why, going back to that guy, I was like, he acts like it's so weird for, they act like it's so weird for grown men to like, grown men that are like 40s, like 20-year-olds. It is, and that makes them predators. It is, and it does. Like, yes, I understand you can. Okay, let me say, can I be attracted to, um? Okay, this is like, I'm so hard to try to word what I'm saying. Could you be when you're 40? Can you be attracted to someone who is 20, the average person, and is that wrong? Um, I feel like you should be able to admire all beauty, all ages. Period. You should be able to admire, but I feel like attraction, a healthy attraction rooted in God, is rooted in, first off, I want to see you had what were you doing for those years I was alive, bitch? Like that's the issue that men aren't. And also what I read about too, like I said before, tons of women project this on men. So let's not like, gender is not ultimately like, it's just about being a bad person. It's about being a person who's a predator. I don't know, who has ego issues, right? That's men and women. Where you want an unbalanced dynamic. Is that what makes you feel with someone who's very attractive? Who you see very attractive, which is, if you want an unbalanced dynamic with someone you see as attractive, you're probably a predator. Because if you're not a predator and you're healthy, what you'd want, why, if you're a man out there and you're like, bro, it's normal, I'm 40, but I keep seeing these 20-year-old girls and I'm attracted. No, you're stupid. It's one thing I will see a 20-year-old, if I had a child, I would see them as beautiful, right? It's one thing to see the beauty in someone, but it's another thing to let yourself be attracted when they are literally half your age, or I would say even like a distance of like, I mean, everyone to each their own convictions, right? Like, I'm not here to tell people how to live their fucking life or read their hearts. But if you're looking for, I will say without a doubt, if you're looking for people who are younger or fetishizing people who are like half your age, that's disgusting and wrong. And when I just said that just now, I'm like listening to this video back. I'm like heading this in. Like when I just heard that just now, obviously I have been that 20-year-old with someone who's double my age many times, and even a 24-year-old that's done like this year. So I've been with someone who's definitely like could literally be double my age. So do all the people I've been with that have been with are okay? Obviously, some of them have been great people. Basically, is what I'm saying. But if you're searching people out for that, if you are 40 and you're searching out 20-year-olds, that's the whatever. That's wrong. It's like if it, some people will be like, oh, it just happened type vibe. It's between you and yourself to know if that's the truth, right? Like, and Nick, I said your moral convictions, like to know what is, you know what I'm saying? I just know for myself, I would never want to talk to someone who's half my age in that way, and I also am going to take into account. This is what I'm going to take into account. We don't have an environment where if you are that older man who is complete or more complete within himself, we don't have an environment where you could easily find your female counterpart in your own age group, and you're more likely to see a promising young person. That's sadly the truth. Like, you're more likely to see. I understand that that also a lot of stuff like that still happens now, because the environment is still that even if you are a better person for your age group, it could still very much feel like just you. That's how I feel, and I'm young. So, like, yeah, I understand that. So I understand that, like, the scarcity, like, weirders are more different with age and the different with different factors, I guess, really other factors, relationships, that are so basically started from a real place can still happen, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense? But if it's not, it shouldn't be. It's really, it's the person's heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it shouldn't be a good thing in your head as a person that you're with a younger person. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna try. If it's hitting like that in your head at all, then what are you bringing to the table? Because you had more time to build up your body. You had more time to, that's the reality. That's how it should be hitting. You know what I'm saying? The pressure psychology is like I'm happy that I got this pretty object. It should be, and also it's, I must say, it's different to hooking up versus actually a relationship, right? Like just hooking up in the context is just hooking up. That's completely different. But it, I'm like trying to really give this as much of a nuanced understanding, and I don't want to offend people who are attracted to young people, because if you're attracted to young people, that's nothing wrong with that if you're never getting it right and processing what that really means for yourself, of how you want to look and who you want to be with, and getting that the right way and with someone in your age group. And opening up your mind, if your mind was closed to a perspective of life being something that you can't keep building up health, opening up your mind to seeing life as that. Like trying to think what I have to say. Any purposeful, so this is what I'm, any purposeful direct fetishization of age is disgusting. Finding someone who's the unique individual, and then there's a weird age factor there, that's between you and your soul. Only you know that's you know what I mean, like different situations, different, and that's just for you know. I know ultimately I fetishize older people, so you know, like that is, you know, that's something that if you are attracted to people that look younger than you, um or I guess if that's what like, your vibe is, then that's for you to deal with your fucking self, basically what I'm saying. Like everything else, we gotta get all answer for our shit, and God knows the nuances of your heart, and if you're navigating from a pure place versus, and your actions will show that, you know, how you treat, no matter the age of person you're dating, how you treat them will show what the, if there was a shallow intention there the whole time, or if it was a real, you're the real deal. Okay, I just do something on my phone. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, if your idea of a partner isn't, the issue isn't that you like youthful features. I have youthful features. I've gotten more youthful features as I age. The issue is that you're not trying to find someone who's just dedicated to health. If you're so apparently, if you could be, right, you as a predator. This is the issue with predatory psychology. Is that not? I'm like, girl, I'm doing the full math and literally my buddy yell like. The predatory psychology, man or woman, a predator, someone who's attracted to young people, they don't take accountability because that's immoral. For you to even let you get self-entertain that thought for so long, you don't take accountability for your moral actions. That's what you're showing. That sexuality, sign check delivered. That's why it's so popular in across the world. Because most people, this is purgatory. Wake up. There's only type of, there's spiritual realm that's hell, right? This is a purgatory-esque, you could say, test. Because I'm like, it's not really it's not straight purgatory where it's like that's it. This is really a test. This is your wiggle room. You know, this is the it's purgatory because there's really good people, really bad people, and really in between people. That's most people. So, you know what I'm saying? Um so if that's a spiritual environment, you're gonna wake up. You're not in heaven, right? There is a spiritual realm where everything's just fucking chill. You're not there. We're not there for sure. We're definitely not there. So if what you're prioritizing from someone being on this realm, which is supposed to be their journey, that's their spiritual journey to grow and become better. If you're fetishizing children, you're doing the opposite. That's it. You're literally, and more than likely, you're literally fetishizing, trying to impair their spiritual journey. you're literally either a demon. Like, I'm not joking. Like, you know, like how I literally am sinless. Like, you're a person who is it's a mystery. Why is it? It's I've never met anyone else who could say they never attracted an innocent person in their life. No, but I'm a mystery in that way to my own self. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the level of the religious deities that people are. You know what I'm saying? But and I never see that reflected in real life. So I'm just left here to exist. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but. Like, like that threw me off. I'm like, I don't even know what I was getting at now. But I'm gonna say this: everyone, when you're a kid, I remember being a kid in class and we talking about slavery. I was talking about misogyny. I was talking about. We talk about predatory stuff, even though that was literally the biggest issue of my life. I was gonna follow home as a kid, but then as an adult that looks like a kid, way worse of an issue in my life. But yeah, yeah. So I remember being a kid talking about different tragedies throughout human history, and just about every kid in my class literally going out their way to say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, I would change shit. I wouldn't. I would have stood up like that." Like when they're going through the details of a terrible story where someone's so unjust. What would children say? Children that will grow up to be predators. Children that will grow up to be the people causing such problems in the world. What will they still be likely to say when they're children? Oh, I would have stopped that if I was a grown man in that situation, little boys. If I was a grown man in that situation, I would have stood up and did it. And he goes up to be an abusive man. You know what I'm saying? It's about, oh my god, all these bugs. It's about people all set out the intention to live out what I live out actually. That's why bitches be jealous of me. Period. We all set out the intention to live out God level moral status. But who has besides me that I've met? Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, and why am I excluded from every? Oh, who would have guessed? So, there's your answer. Not everything, but so much shit. So, socially everything. So, people say it's very like people's priorities. People say they prioritize one thing. People say they're looking for one thing in a person, but this is reality. I had old bitches jealous of me, right? Your brain, it's like someone shot you in your head. I'm maybe like, you're done. Like, did someone lobotomize you? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're an old person and you're jealous and you actually could let it out, you're jealous of it. The level of like, you have no brain cell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna help you, hun. It's not gonna undo the wrinkles, the saggy tits, the hate in your heart, the gristle puss fate. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have all these hate, heavy witch like features. Literally, this bitch like that was hateful to me all the way by ex's mom. It's like all these grizzle puss features, and you're jealous of me as if that's gonna help, as if that's not just gonna make it worse. Like, yeah. People see their partner, but this is what that type of thinking, to be jealous of someone else, right? All you value in your partner is how they look. That's what I'm saying. That's the type of bitch that if you were pretty, I was watching a video, and this is predators, right? Predators, you know, people who are many pedophiles in my life have critiqued how I look, my outfit, like I talked about in this video, right? It's predators have this psychology, like they're two, and their idea is, I just want to work. I wish I could just wake up in your body. I was like, grow the fuck up. That's the major, like, what it boils down to. And the reality is a spiritual test for them to realize that I followed the straight and narrow path, but it's a test for, and what body was I born into? The body that has been discriminated. My gender has been historically discriminated against. My race has been historically discriminated against. My age look, literally whether I am of age or not, my age look has, like, every aspect of me that's identifiable has been historically discriminated against. God did that on purpose because he's not going to birth the soul that can live out a sinless lifestyle in Mr. White Man body when the world is racist. birth a soul that can live out a sinless lifestyle into the body of the people who've been keeping the hierarchy going. Like, obviously, God is going to want to. Whoever has been the attack party is always going to be the voice of God. That's period. That's why children in household settings will be the voice. Like, whoever is a subjugated party, that's where God, the voice of God, lies. And God does that even just in the creation. Obviously, it goes out saying God can and will use anyone, and every. And groups have how many people? So God is in every group using people, but to really have a to really have the full perspective of what really matters. Obviously, the more discriminated against you are, the more you're going to be grounded in what really matters. And I do believe also God purposely is going to the good energy that's an active force in the universe is going to purposely um, do things to subvert the evil narratives. So why would God birth the souls that they know that are most likely to be the spiritual warrior, be the purest, into bodies that are going to give them easy lives and make them easily accepted? Like, because then you're not going to understand what's going on in the big picture of things. It, like, at a real solid concrete level. But there are people of all groups who are good, bad, all the things in between. Towards him, right? He's gonna birth the souls that were the ones in class being like, I wouldn't discriminate against them. I would treat them so good. But in reality, all they value themselves off of, they're ego driven, all they value themselves off of is they're only in the physical realm. All they value themselves off is physical. So they're gonna go up to a bitch that is healthy and they're not gonna think, oh, how does she eat? Da 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 da. Let me learn. They're gonna think, I wish I had what she has. They're in some third stupid space that's not real. To be jealous, you're in a third stupid. To be jealous, to be a predator, you're in a third stupid space that's not real. And that third space is where it makes sense to predators to want to date. Anyone who has anyone who lived life right does not want to date someone who's really wise. Most men aren't wise, right? I'm saying men in particular, because women are the source of wisdom. I'm just gonna be straight up. Like, I feel like that's why I identify femininity, like that feminine, and like that's why I didn't identify with men as a child at all, to a level where it's like it was I couldn't even interact. I never interacted with social group boys. But I mean that goes deeper because it's how I look. It was like it's literally like my biology. It's literally just like flat out for. But you know what I'm saying? Like, because I was still assigned male at birth, I could really see the difference. Okay, and I really see it from every. I'm like, I've also been sexualized as a boy by woman. Still, even after hormones, thinking I was a young underage boy. So when I was of age, but soft because of my hormonal profile. I would take care of myself. So yeah. If you want, there's nothing. Okay, right, and in certain settings through history, that's why men are predators, right? It made sense for them in their head evolution. It didn't really make sense in reality because reality is it's always a scarcity, evil mindset shit to be a predator. It's like I don't give a fuck about no one. We just gotta reproduce. That's literally what, you know what I'm saying. Like, if you're I'm looking for young people, but don't care about growing with them. Don't you? That's you just need someone who looks young. Yeah, you're just like, I want to reproduce. You don't care about. You're acting like we're horses. And it's not about us being spiritual fucking beings and learning. Like, God doesn't give a fuck if you got your pussy coming and you popped out 9 babies or in verse and you. God is not going to be like, oh my God, well done, my servant. You created 9 million more people, like, that are all traumatized because you couldn't take care of them or you took care of them terribly. Well done, my good and faithful heterosexual. Like, that's not what God's gonna say. Like, God doesn't give a fuck whether you popped out 9 million kids or not. So if you're coming from a godlike consciousness, that's how you're gonna think. You know what I'm saying? That the only either you want to be, if you're coming from a godlike consciousness, either you're gonna accept that, bitch, I just want to fuck for the rest of my life, or you're going to want a relationship with someone your own age so you can actually connect with them or near your own age, and you're going to be taking care of yourself and you want someone to take care of their fucking selves. It's that simple. Like, it's about what you actually are fetishizing. If you're fetishizing the soul, like for me, this is a true game. For me, dating, I didn't know who to go for. I didn't know who to go for. Like, when I first started swiping on Tinder, I was like, yes, to like every other guy, because I didn't know who to, which is not most women, or most men, even with women. But I didn't know who to go for because I started off dating from day one with the mind space of, I care about what's on the inside. I don't care if this man is 2 feet tall and If he's the one that who sees me the most, who I fucking am, and wants to love me the most, then he's the one. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. I literally felt like that so harshly. Like, I don't want to exclude it. I couldn't let myself. I didn't even have physical things to go off of because I didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, to that level, I just wanted, like, who wants to be number one daddy? Who wants to be the number one? Who's the most living for me in a non-toxic way? Period. I don't give a fuck what body that comes in, as long as they want to be masculine and doing that, you know? If that's your headspace, you have no room for predatory shit. There's your answer. Like that. Need I say more? Like, if your headspace is, I want an actual relationship, what you need to realize is, if you're a predator, you don't want a relationship with yourself. You don't want a relationship with others. What your relationship to, your connection to, we all have to have a connection to our own youth. So if you're a predator, your connection to your own youth is one of, as if it was completely out of your control to take care of yourself. That's your headspace, probably. And one of, I'm a person, it's one of, I'm the type of person that you could say, okay, if I dropped you right now, Aaliyah, I could drop you in this woman's body, and it could be a woman I could find nothing, no flaw. I think she looks so perfect, so beautiful. I would. But I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, they could say, like, she's this beautiful woman, and everything about her, she's, like, my ideal woman for how I would want to look or some shit, right? I'm like, I feel like I already am that. And I feel like I am that, but, I don't know. For myself, but, I don't know, like, I don't know how to make this analogy work. But, okay. Say it was, like, you know, I was more insecure. And they're like, this is your ideal fucking woman. We can drop you in her body. Like, that's what narcissists want, basically. That's what predators want. Like, they're not thinking of their body as a personal, with the reality it is a personal vessel that records what the fuck you were doing, and you gotta take care of, and that's a number one priority. That should be a number one priority. They're not looking at life like that. They're looking at it as, my number one priority is getting attention and socializing, and whatever I fetishize, not much thought, not much, you know. But ultimately, no matter what, they're looking at themselves like they're a doll. Like, to be a predator and look at other people like they're a doll. Like, you're looking at, that's why you can't take care of your body, because you got to get in the mud with your body. Your body's not you're a fucking animal. Yeah, when you actually, you know, and instead of people would dedicate their animalistic energy to be a predator or be abuser, dedicate that energy to actually working on yourself and building yourself. That animalistic energy is supposed to be you working out and shit, and digging and fighting immorality. Like, you know what I mean? Whether that's your personal life injustice or big picture injustice or both. Like, I'm doing both. So, like, all this energy, like, people that are predators, they project that animalistic energy on literal children that they should be projecting on, like, them working out. And taking, all this, like, crazy, like, God gives us that crazy energy for a fucking reason, so you can work out your body, because it takes that much energy of crazy to keep that shit going. That's why people think, oh, if you're past your age, you're gonna look good. Yeah, because most people do, because you have to be a real ass pure ass soul who has a real ass good ass established ass patterns to make it cross the threshold of aging gracefully. That's the reality. But it's possible, and be that person and do it. And if that's something that was completely out of reach to you, even mentally, which is like most people, it's because you got to reflect on what the fuck you put in reach to you mentally, because there had to be shit blocking it. And if you're a predator, you can't see the big picture of what life really is or what it really could be. You're not going to ever see that, because you're limiting yourself to people live 100 years, then we look older, badder, fall apart. Instead of, people are made of certain substances. If you keep adding them in and building up and building up and building up, then you got 100-year-old, for me, 100-year-old muscle daddy, and who's been working out for a long time, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that should be people's mindset sexually, whether you like men or women. But are you actually someone who actually really wants to commit? Like, and if you don't want to commit, then be polyamorous. But you gotta be upfront and be real and be honest, no matter fucking what. Period. And just because you don't want to commit doesn't mean you can be a predator either. Yeah. Just because you don't want to commit to someone doesn't mean you should be fucking people like completely out of your age range. I would say no matter what. Have I fucked people out of my age range that are old? Hell yeah. When I was younger, like I said in the video, of course I have. Do I think all of them, like, oh my god, you're all evil? Like, no. Would I ever do what the fuck they did? Would I ever fuck with someone my age when I was like, hell no. So, is it weird? Do I think they're all less, in reality, less mature than me? Like, yeah, that's without a shadow of a doubt, they're in reality less mature than me. That's me saying the least. But, people do shit that's sketchy. It's between them and God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how sketchy it is. It's always a reality. You don't know where people's heads are at. You don't know how they process the nuances of reality. Everyone has their own story about what reality is. That's really what predation boils down to in, like, our sexual narratives. Like, if your idea of reality is so based on just, like, your legacy being this physical, having children, you know what I'm saying? That, you know what I'm saying? That's not me. But if that is you, then, being a predator is going to be more kind of aligned. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many. If the farther you get your legacy from you, right? That's the reality. The more likely you're to be a predator. If your headspace is more, my legacy is shit outside yourself. You're like I even saw this videos like this woman saying women have no legacy. We have to take men's name and and it's like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I hear what you're saying, but your name is not your legacy. Your looks are your legacy. Whatever type of you're attractive androgynous person. There's a million of them. You're attractive person. Yeah, there's a million. You're attractive person. Yeah, there's 1,000 billion young persons of those, and people that we can't even see for all time that live that are also that. So that's not your fucking legacy. Your legacy is what you actually think. Your actual idea is what you believe, right? Right? The change you bring to the world and the people around you. So if you're coming from a place of that, if you're coming from a place of your idea of your legacy being just get the attractive husband or wife and get attention and get social validation and whatever the fuck, do the things, the normal straight things, the quote unquote straight norms things. If that's your idea of legacy, you're obviously gonna be more likely to be a predator. But if your idea of legacy is a spiritual journey where you're actually learning and laying down a foundation of what you believe in, everything, you're going to want to do that with someone who is an equal. You're not going to want to, if you're a predator, you want to take someone on board who is going to drag along for your stupid ride, where you're probably trying to break them down the whole time. If you're the opposite, if you're not fetishizing people based off of age first and foremost and their look first and foremost, you're fetishizing people like what I do first and foremost off of how much do you like me, how do you, you know, like the actual connection we have, like are you invested, like, and then from there, are you smart, it's still more shit. You're actually, that's all has to do with your soul. It all goes back to your soul. This means examining your soul. Do you value morality? Are you, what you believe in God? Do you, you know, like, if that's how your first thought about dating, then you're not dating. If your first thought, it was so many people, and that goes for men and women. If your first thought is, he's not hot enough, I want a man like this, I want a woman like this, which is most people, because even more because they're narcissistic and social media made them. It's like most people are literally like they're living like little kid. Like when I was a little kid, right? I looked at muscular men that were hairy, and I, you know, was attracted very much. Like there, people basically are still, and I looked at models, right? I looked up to them, and people are still looking. People are still like, people are 60 and they're looking at 20-year-olds like that. Like people are 60 and they're still in the headspace as if they're a 5-year-old looking at a 20, when really they're a predator. Because why are you looking at it? You need to grow the fuck up, and you should have been progressing past this time, but you fucking, since you were 20, been on stall. But that was your choice because you chose to fetishize fuck the perspective of everything. And you get what I'm saying? And your priorities, I guarantee, are not right. They're not founded in the soul. They're founded in the flesh, what I can get, how people perceive me, how I perceive others. If your first thought around getting a partner is a physical fetishization, you need to rethink your idea or age or a body type. You need to rethink your priorities in looking for people. It needs to be said. People will treat their kids differently based on how they look. If you're a person who has been going off how people look your whole life, you change your brain. Your brain literally, we're if you highlight certain stimuli, that's what your brain picks up. And then you build a brain, that's what you strengthen. So your reality is distorted. If you're beautiful, a beautiful woman, a beautiful young woman, a beautiful child, adults, because you live in a predatory world where most people are judging off how people look, adults will envy and sexualize you, and it will change your experience. That shouldn't be the reality. A lot of people need to reevaluate what they're judging people off of. People will be spiteful to beautiful people as if they're beautiful in spite of them, not that they're just living. And maybe they're doing something right that you're not, and you need to learn about how to take care of yourself. Like, most people need to get out of a distorted view of what reality is. Because reality is a spiritual test, not a physical comparison. It's that simple. If your processing of reality is a physical comparison, you failed the spiritual test as to why God created you in the first place.